What does homesteading mean to us? Hello everyone. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're having another kitchen conversation. Now, this video might be a little controversial. I am okay with that. It doesn't bother me. Generally, we don't like drama. We don't like gossip. We don't like any of that negative stuff. Hence the reason I'm always saying stay positive. However, I have thought about and been wanting to film this video for over a year. Me and my husband have discussed it. I keep putting it off. I keep not making the video because, like I said, it's controversial. So, it all begins with a story. And a lot of my stories go back to my grandma and grandpa. Well, this one does. When I was in middle school, I can't remember if I was 12 or 13, 7th or 8th grade, I can't remember. I just remember I was in middle school. And that day at lunch, I had been talking to one of my friends, and she made the comment that the coming up summer fair, her and her family were going to be putting in some of their homestead animals into the county fair. Well, not quite understanding maybe what that meant, I had said to her, "You mean your farm animals?" And that set her off. It was actually one of the catalysts that ended up me and the girl not being friends anymore, because I realized that the way she overreacted just was not something I wanted to have in my life. And she was absolutely flipping out on me. "Don't call us farmers. We're not farmers. We homestead. Farmers grow commercial food, and farmers this and farmers that, and we're homesteaders and we this and we that." And I was confused. So I went home that day, went down the hill. First thing I did was ask my mom, and she said the same thing I did. Well, there's no difference. Farming, homesteading, it's the same thing. So, wanting a different answer, because, you know, I'd had the same answer, and my friend had freaked out, I decided to go ask my grandfather. I'll never forget what he said. First thing he did was laugh and say, "Yeah, there is absolutely no difference between farming and homesteading." He said, "In my opinion," and this is now the opinion I hold and the opinion my husband holds, because it's the one that makes the most sense. My grandfather told me, when it comes to any of those complex words, you need to break them down into their core words. Home and stead. Everybody knows what a home is, so I don't think I need to give you the definition of that. And stead, my grandfather said, is to do what you're supposed to do in the most proficient way possible. So, today, upon making this video, I decided to actually look up the real definition of the word, and my grandfather was right. Stead, it's a noun. The place or role that someone or something should have or fill. Now, when he said break it down into words, and home is home, and stead means to have a stable place, to take care of your place, to make it work. He also said to me, however, Amanda, you should actually be looking at the word homestead more as home steadfast, which means to run your place, your house, your farm, your garden, your family with the most proficient way possible, cheapest way possible, and the way that works best for you and your family. And because of that, I've always maintained the belief that it doesn't matter the size of your home. Doesn't matter if you have 50 acres, 50 cows, 10 chickens. Well, I guess you wouldn't have 50 cows unless you were a commercial farmer. 50 chickens, 5 cows, 5 pigs, tons of ducks and all that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to grab another bag of lettuce. Hang on. It doesn't matter the size of your home or what you have on it, as long as what you're doing is making sure that your house is being cared for in the most proficient way possible. Making sure that it runs and flows with ease. Making sure you have food in your house, food on your table, warm clothes, something to drink, and your children happy, healthy, and learning. This is the most important part for me and my husband. Learning everything you could possibly teach them to survive the world. So that's how me and my husband feel. And for us, that is the definition of homesteading. To steadfastly care for your house, your family, your environment, and to make sure that it all runs proficiently and smoothly. Here, I gotta rinse off this lettuce, you guys, because I had rinsed off the previous stuff. Hang on. For us, that's what homesteading means. Taking care of house, home, family, life, children, in the most proficient way possible. Now, there are so many definitions nowadays of homesteading. Some people say you don't have a homestead unless you have animals. You don't have a homestead unless you have acreage. You don't have a homestead unless you can and cook and bake and do everything yourself from scratch. Well, the funny thing is, I do grow my own food. I do bake my own bread. I do can my own food. So the only thing I'm missing is acreage and animals, but because of that, I'm not a homesteader. That has never made sense to me, especially after my grandfather explained to me what he believed homesteading was. Now, growing up, when I was younger, much younger, because my grandparents sold their small property and their small farm when I was like 7, just because they were getting old and couldn't care for such large property anymore. So homesteading has always meant what my grandfather told me. And when me and my husband got together and started discussing wanting to do things, and I explained to him what my definition of homesteading was, my husband agreed. And it's part of the reason I will say me and my husband have such a good marriage. Me and him agree and see and view the world so similar. So, but if you look up the definition of homestead nowadays, it is got so many things to say. Now, the funny thing about it is, when me and my husband were looking up the definition of homesteading a year ago, when I first thought of making this video, one of the definitions we came across was actually a U.S. government definition. A definition put out during the Louisiana Purchase. And what it was you go out to all the land and the territories bought during the Louisiana Purchase. You find yourself 50 to 100 acres. You fence it off. You stake a claim on it. You keep it protected. And for 5 years, you live on it, have a productive farm, productive family, but most importantly, you contribute to the growth of the economy of your community and your country. So, technically, according to what the government definition is, there are so few actual what would be labeled under government definition of homesteaders. There is not anyone in this country anymore who wanders out to huge land, stakes it as their own, puts up fencing, and spends 5 years producing on that farm and contributing to the country. Homesteading has now become, well, so many definitions. But for me, and for my husband, and from what I learned from my grandfather, it will always mean steadfastly caring for the home that you live in. Steadfastly caring for your family, your finances, your animals, your children, and your spouse. Alright guys, I don't think there's much more I really can say on the subject. I don't know why I was afraid to film that video and give my definition and my opinion of homesteading. I think it was a lot easier to film than I realized. This is my opinion of what homesteading is. It might not be your opinion of homesteading, and that's fine. Because everybody has their own definitions for everything out there. So, thank you for coming along on another kitchen conversation with me and talking about what we define in our house as homesteading. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all in the next one. And remember everyone, stay positive. Bye!